Subscribe to Film Companion for your film fix. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.
Hey guys, and welcome to another Streaming with Suchin. It's day God knows what of lockdown. And at times of looming uncertainty like this, we all look to the power of art to keep us engaged and entertained and make us feel alive. And okay, basically, I just need a haircut because this shit ain't working for anyone. I look like my house is haunted by me. So here's a message for all streaming platforms. I know you guys are busy right now trying to get as many viewers and subscribers as possible, but here's a tip. If you really want to win the streaming wars, stop trying to make great content. Forget the characters and the narrative and the casting. Just put out one great grooming video that shows all of us how to cut our own damn hair without looking like a dumbass, and I guarantee you will win the internet. Anyway, personal breakdown aside, let's talk streaming, shall we? We begin with Netflix's new highly anticipated comedy, Space Force. Let's just break this bad boy down, shall we? The ideal human being that is Steve Carell reunites with the creator of the US Office, Greg Daniels, to give us a massively mounted comedy series about the latest actual branch of the US Armed Forces called Space Force. I'm just glad this exists. Say what you want about the dude currently sitting in the White House, but clearly he has inspired some great art. Steve Carell plays General Mark Nadd, who, along with his oddball team of scientists, is given the job of making the Space Force into a reality. Basically, it's what happens when someone takes a ridiculous decision and a bunch of genuinely smart people have to come together to figure out how to do the damn thing. What's the purpose of Space Force, you ask? Well, it's to spend billions to prepare for combat in space and fight other countries in space and, colonize the moon. All the essentials for our survival. Still, as you'd expect, Steve Carell is an absolute joy to watch and once again continues his streak of creating some of the most adorable on-screen characters. Also, Space Force does take a couple of episodes to get used to in terms of its tone because it's not really going for laugh-a-minute comedy. Instead, it tries to ground the laughs in people who feel real. And to its credit, Space Force also has real moments of heart and many unexpected moments of true humanity. The show is brought to life by some of the finest comedic talent like the charming Lisa Kudrow, Ben Schwartz and Jimmy O. Yang. But as the head scientist, it's John Malkovich who entirely steals the show here, and his chemistry with Steve Carell is just the best thing about this. Still, Space Force doesn't quite land its ending, and certain characters' arcs, like Mark's daughter, don't really feel that well fleshed out. But I guess in the end, ultimately the question is this the definitive life-changing comedy like The Office that all of us were hoping for? Maybe not. But I can tell you that it nails the satire of just how ridiculous the idea of Space Force is. It's frequently had me in splits, and it gives us characters who feel memorable and special, and it's well worth your time. Next up, we come to colonial zombies in Betaal, the latest Netflix horror series from creator Patrick Graham, who previously helmed the Radhika Apte starrer Ghoul. Betaal is the second Netflix series from Shah Rukh Khan's Red Chillies Entertainment after last year's misfire that was part of Blood. Like that show, this also stars Vineet Kumar. Here he plays Vikram Sirohi, who's part of an elite army squad tasked with doing shady stuff for the government. In his latest mission, his team, which includes the talented Ahana Kumra, is deployed to deal with villagers who are protesting the government's destruction of a sacred mountain which they believe to be haunted. And of course they're right. I had fun with Betaal, but mainly for the wrong reasons. The mountain is haunted by an old British army regiment that have been cursed, so now they're all zombies. So they're not white walkers as much as they are white people walkers. Also, we have to talk about these zombies because they are just the best. Firstly, they're British soldiers, so they're all in uniform. Secondly, they play instruments. There's an entire episode where you see the zombies just ominously playing the drums to announce their assault. Basically, these are your garden variety movie zombies who refuse to moisturize, except in Betaal, they also have a snazzy fashion sense and have innate musical talents. Also, one way to repel the zombies in the show is a combination of spices. So apparently, even when they're dead, white people can't be handling those Indian spices. There's one scene where you legitimately see a character trying to suck up to and negotiate with the zombies, and it's like, can we all just go home? Still, despite the fact that it gets sillier as it goes on, I had fun with Betaal. It works better as a campy action thriller than it does as a horror flick, but it does have some impressive production design, and lead Vineet Kumar really does try his best to rise above the material, but fails to get us to take any of this seriously. In the end, at a merciful 4 episodes, Betaal isn't unwatchable and wrestles with some interesting ideas, but in the end just works as a pulpy, guilty pleasure watch. And last but not least, we come to Kenny Sebastian's new Netflix comedy special, The Most Interesting Person in the Room. Netflix is clearly ramping up their comedy specials from Indian comics. This is like the 4th one this year. Now, personally, I'm not quite sure what to do with Kenny as a comic. I think he's great to watch live, but for me, his specials haven't quite hit the mark, whether it was his Amazon special or this new one. I just feel he's one comedian who hasn't quite found his voice in stand-up, and I'm not quite sure what he's known for. His new special is made up of that kind of overly accessible mainstream comedy that feels unremarkable for those of us who have been watching comedy for a while now. He's enjoyable to watch and does make some fun observations, but this just didn't feel like a tightly honed set that had been carefully crafted. There's this one bit where he does an impression of an ostrich running and compares it to a middle-class dad in a mall looking for the washroom, and I think that tells you everything you need to know about whether this is for you or not. I figure comedy specials need to lie somewhere on the spectrum between having something meaningful to say or just serving up consistent and unabashed laughs, and for me, this didn't really do either. Before I disappear, a few quick bullet records for you guys. Eros Now recently released a new season of their deeply underrated comedy series Metro Park, which stars Ranveer Shori, Omi Vaidya and Purvi Joshi. The new season is another one of those that's entirely shot remotely during the lockdown, like the recent A Viral Wedding, which is also on Eros Now. But unlike that show, this is genuinely funny, and the new season of Metro Park does a great job at poking fun of Indians in quarantine. It's at 5 episodes of less than 5 minutes each. It's a really easy, breezy watch, and I highly recommend it. Last quick reco from me is the new Netflix rom-com The Lovebirds, starring Kumail Nanjiani, before he got ripped, and Issa Rae. It's one of those really playful, predictable, fun rom-coms. It's essentially a watered-down version of Date Night, the film starring Tina Fey and Steve Carell. But this one still has some good laughs and it's worth your time. So check it out. And yeah, let me know what you guys are watching in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time. Happy streaming.